Now, gents, when I was 17, I learned I have the amazing ability to be able to up a good thing. So it started when my Aunt Lola loaned me her truck. And there I am driving 65 miles an hour down a country road. And for some reason, I thought it would be smart to reach across and to grab some tissues that had, I don't know, knocked over. Guess what? I look up and I'm going off the road. I overcorrect, end up rolling that truck multiple times, totaled it. Now, fortunately, I was okay, but I caused a lot of issues and I'd taken something that was awesome and I screwed it up because I wasn't thinking. And that was just the start, because my Aunt Lola, man, she took care of me. She set me up with a girl that was teaching me how to country western dance for my prom. And guess what? That relationship ended quick. That being said, I wasn't worried. I had a girl in my theater class that was so into me. She was a freshman. I was a senior. You know, I had the whole clout thing, and all my friends, all of her friends told me that she was into me, and I knew it. In fact, her best friend had pulled me aside and said, you know what? If you ask Lindsay out to prom, she's going to say yes. So, I mean, this was an ace in the hole, right? No, because what I did next was idiotic. I asked out this other girl that I didn't even really know. I was just seeing her a few times the hall, was infatuated with her, and she turned me down. And when Lindsay found out, yeah, all of a sudden she got really pissed off. I thought I'd give it a couple weeks. Some other guy asked her out. So there I am going to prom by myself. I walk in and I see her with that other guy. It upsets me. I just turn around and leave. I'd rented the tux, went through all the trouble to set things up. My aunt loaned me the money. And here's the thing is, I really just screwed things up because of poor decision making. Now, looking back at the time when all those incidents happened, I mean, it sucked. I was very upset, but now I'm thankful for them. Why? Because they shaped me and they taught me you are not perfect. You are not really good at making a lot of the decisions, a lot of the things that you decide to do are wrong. So knowing that, when it came to just setting up and running my business, I'm not afraid to pivot. I've learned that, you know what, it's great to have systems and people around you that can kind of keep you on the right path. The next painful lesson I had to learn the hard way is that she is not going to wait around forever. There was a girl that I was infatuated with. I never expressed to her how I thought, my feelings for her. I tried to ask her out once. It didn't work out. Thing is, looking back on that, it was, you know, it's still to this day, I really kind of wish I would have said something. But here's the thing. From that, I learned I got to be more assertive, especially when you see something you want. You've got to go after it. What's that saying? Good things come to those who wait, but better things come to those who work for it. I'd have to say that's how my mindset changed. And I became more assertive in simply seeing something and going after it. When I met this girl in Ukraine, she had a boyfriend, but she was just everything I was looking for. And it didn't matter that she was on the other side of the world, that she was in a relationship. I wrote her a letter. I told my now wife that she was the one, that I'm going to go after her. And this is after just knowing her a couple days. And, you know, it worked out. So it's a great story now. I realized when you want something, don't be afraid to go after and get it, because otherwise it won't be there if you just wait. The next lesson I'm glad I learned the hard way: money can't buy happiness, but poverty can't buy anything. So there are two types of problems in life. There's your money problems, and then there are your personal problems, relationship problems. Those everybody has. But life is sure a lot easier when you've got the money issues taken care of. Growing up, it was something we never had any money for anything. For breakfast, we had what was called poor man's breakfast. We couldn't even afford cereal. Basically, we would take old bread and you would break it up, put some sugar on it, and that was the meal. But it was something that I saw how difficult life can be, how much you have to work, you know, and I did not want to be in that situation. So immediately I started reading books on finance when I got into college. All of a sudden I started learning all the ins and outs, and I realized that understanding money is really, you know, this is something no one's born with. Now, some people live a lifestyle or they live in a family in which it's talked about, wasn't talked about in mine. So you have to go out there and you have to educate yourself. Financial education is something that is worth the time and investment because you start laying the foundation. Now, a lot of people, and I was told always to save your money, but what I wasn't told is actually how to earn more money and all the different ways that you could, hey, there are ways if you're going to spend 40, 50 hours a week working, do you want to be actually working in a factory? Do you want to be chasing a career? Do you want to go get an education that's going to be able to, you know, transfer that into higher pay? Maybe you want to start a company. I know for me, one of the reasons I love starting businesses is because I know of the freedom that it can give you in terms of once you set up a business properly, it should be like a really nice watch. It should be something that you check the time a few times, you know, a month, maybe adjust it a little bit, but overall it should run and it should throw off. It should be able to do what it's intended to do, which a business is to make money. And speaking of entrepreneurship, the next lesson I'm happy I learned the hard way is that your boss isn't your friend, your employer. And this is tough for a lot of people because they get really close with people at work. And some of you guys may disagree with me. Let me know in the comments. But I was fired from a job that I gave up everything. I didn't give up everything, but I did move up to a different state. I bought a house. I was committed to this company. I was working 70, 80 hours a week. Some of you guys have had this happen to you. And for 4 to 5 months, I thought everything was right on. And I actually called a meeting. I was the CFO of the company. And guess what? In that meeting, I got fired. It was blindsided. I didn't see this coming. I was moving my family to this country. I was relying on that paycheck. And I'm happy I learned at that point that, hey, the only person I can rely on when it comes to earning a living and setting things up for I got to be self-sufficient. It's me. I know a lot of you guys work for companies, but you always want to have a backup plan. You want to be polishing that resume. You want to be making sure that you've got options out there. One of the things as a business owner, I keep hitting on this, but I love that I've got multiple streams of income. So if one fails, I've got the, 10 other backups that, I'm bringing money from, and always looking for something new because it seems like some things are going off. I want to be able to kind of have control on my destiny. And I'm happy that I learned that I didn't fall into the trap of believing and having everything dependent on one source of income. The next lesson I learned the hard way is when people show you who they are, believe them. So many times we want to think that it's a good person. They were caught in this situation. But there are certain people, it is their nature, in the same way it's a scorpion's nature to sting, that they are just you can't trust them. There are people that you're going to have to cut out of your life. I had a friend, or I thought he was a friend. He said he could ride a motorcycle. So he jumps on my bike and he takes it like 10 feet, drops it. And just scratched it all up. Really, there was hundreds, if not $1,000 worth of damage right here. He told me he would get me the money. Never. It still has not gotten me that. It's been like 25 years and he hasn't gotten me that money. And I don't expect, because I realize there are people in your life. Do you know the story of the scorpion and the frog? So there's a frog wants to get across a river and it sees a scorpion there and it's wanting to do the same thing. Scorpion says, hey, let me jump on your back so I can ride across. Frog's like, no, you're a scorpion. You're going to sting me. The scorpion's like, why would I do that? Because if I sting you, we're both going to die in the middle of the river. Frog's like, oh, that makes sense. So to be a good guy, scorpion jumps on his back. He's swimming halfway across. Guess what happens? The scorpion stings the frog, and the frog is there paralyzed, dying, and saying, they're both going to die. And he's like, why did you do that? And the scorpion is, I'm sorry. It was in my nature. When you realize that there are people that almost can't help themselves, they will continuously trip themselves up, at least to be on guard about it. If you decide to keep them in your life, and it's tough when it's family, when it's really close friends, you want to keep them, but you understand, hey, I got to set up a system because I know that this person is going to drop the ball. This person is going to, do something that could hurt me. I need to be prepared for it. The next lesson I'm happy I learned the hard way when it comes to key purchases, things that are really important, you depend on, buy the best quality, buy dependable. For me, it was cars. I used to buy the cheapest cars throughout college and they would not last but like a couple months, if that. Break down multiple times and spending all this time. And I learned a lot about vehicles, having to do all these repairs. But I remember buying a Camaro out in California. My brother actually really liked it. And went along with it, spent like $1,500, started driving that thing back out to Iowa, what should have been a 2 to 3 day trip. Ended up taking almost 2 weeks. Why? Because I was stopping. I was almost late for school. When it comes to certain purchases, you want to spend more because it's key to living a good life. The next lesson I'm happy I learned the hard way, and this one was very painful, is that you can't out-earn reckless spending. Going through a bankruptcy, going back and having to look at all of my credit card spending. For some reason, I thought that, I had the MBA, I'm starting my first company. I'm going to spend all this money on certain bits of machinery, on all of this inventory. I was making $100,000 a month. But my expenses were $105,000. And guess what? When you keep doing that and it gets worse, all of a sudden your earnings are only $50,000 in the month and your expenses are still $100,000. All of a sudden you start going into debt and you realize you can't, unless you're venture backed. And even then you eventually have to at some point start earning a profit. But I learned very quickly that it was my reckless spending. Nowadays, I look at every bank statement. I'm going through and questioning not only the big expenses, which are incredibly important, but I look at those. Why did we spend $5 here? What was this $25 purchase here? You've heard the saying that small leaks can sink a great ship. Guys, this was me. I had all of these leaks, and it just came back and it bit me, and I went into a bankruptcy. And that painful lesson of having to go in front of a judge and explain and talk about this, and then dealing with creditors that are still chasing you, literally physically chasing you, trying to say, hey, can you pay this? Can you pay that? And you've got to say, no, contact me via mail. It's kind of, I didn't like it at all. And it was something that still today sticks with me. So I'm not afraid to question, why am I being charged this? Can I get a discount? Is this the best price that you can give me? Because every penny matters. Now, with this next lesson, I'm very happy that I've never hit anybody. I've never injured anyone else, but I have anger issues. And it's something that I have exploded on my wife, and that basically I've grabbed things and thrown them out windows. I've broken things in front of her. And I've realized that, this is a lesson that I'm still to this day managing my own anger. And I've realized I need to go to the gym. I need to exercise. If I don't do this daily, then I'm at risk, especially as it starts to build up. I need a physical release. And a lot of you guys get this, and you've probably had things happen in your life, and hopefully you haven't hurt or injured anyone. But I've realized, this is why I think a lot of guys end up maybe striking somebody and not meaning to. And with 5 young kids, I grew up in a household in which we were spanked. There was a paddle, and they used it. They used the belt on us. I'm happy to say that we've never done that with our kids. But it is something that you realize, as a man, we get very frustrated. And this pent-up, and I think women maybe as well, this pent-up frustration can lead to, we almost feel like we need a physical outlet. And I found that going out and doing that exercise daily, learning to set up boundaries as well. I've got my office here, and I'm happy for it because I'm able to step out of when things are chaotic at home. But you've got to have a place where you can retreat. You've got to have your boundaries and set those, and set it up not just for yourself, but so that you don't say something you're going to regret with others. Now, today's video, gents, is all about making your life simpler. And when it comes to looking good, don't you wish it was simple as 1, 2, 3? Well, guess what, guys? With today's sponsor, Vitaman, their essential skincare kit makes it simple for you to look good. Step number 1, use a face wash first thing in the morning and right before you go to bed. Step 2, twice a week, usually 2 to 3 days between each one, scrub your face with an exfoliator to remove dead skin cells. And step 3, after washing your face, first thing in the morning and right before going to bed, use a daily moisturizer. Gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce you to Vitaman's Daily Essential System. This is the easiest natural skincare system right now that you can go out there and find. It's delivered right to your door every single month with everything you need to take care of your skin. And guys, as you know, Vitaman is my company. I stand behind every product we sell with a 100% money back guarantee. So to be able to get 51% off your first order, make sure to use that link in the description of today's video. This deal is not going to be around forever. Use it or lose it. Go over to Vitaman, check it out, and consider taking the first step to you just looking better and feeling better about your skin. Now, this next lesson, this next story, I've actually never shared with anybody. And as I was putting together the notes for this video, I remembered it. And I thought, wow, this is my example, or my story of accepting who I am and actually realizing that I'm a beautiful person. So up to probably 8th grade, I had never, I had these big, heavy glasses, and I felt like I looked like a complete dork. I did. I mean, I was a skinny teenage brown kid, in West Texas, and I just felt out of place. I didn't feel there was anyone like me. And I remember my freshman year going to St. Anthony's High School Seminary in San Antonio, Texas for 1 year. And I went to this pool, and I didn't have my glasses on, and I'm just there by myself. And I had this girl come up to me, and we started talking because I felt like, you're not going to like me when I put my glasses on. So I put my glasses on. She's like, she took them back off. She said, you know what? I do think that you are more handsome without your glasses. That being said, and she said it maybe not this elegantly, but she just said that, you're a very handsome guy. And she really did like me. And, she was just a sweet girl. I never talk to her again, but she just said such nice things to me that all of a sudden I came away from that realizing if nobody else in the world thought that I was handsome, she did, or at least she said she did. And she had no purpose to, no reason to, just talking to some, 2 kids talking at a pool, but it stuck with me. And I do want to stress, guys, a lot of you out there, maybe you've never had a girlfriend. Maybe you've never been with anyone. You've just been having a tough time, maybe in life. Maybe you've gone through a divorce. You have this beautiful life. So live it. And who gives a shit what other people think about you? Another lesson that took me a long time to really absorb is that who cares what society thinks about you. Because when it comes down to it, society doesn't care. You are this diamond. And the clothing, your mannerisms, everything we talk about here is about helping that diamond shine so that people can see it, so that you can go out there and that you can maybe find that partner you're looking for. You can be able to get that job that you want. But I think at the end of the day, that you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can say, you know what? I am, that man I know myself to be. And you do that by practicing every day being a better person, being the person that you want to be, knowing your core values. For me, honor, courage, commitment. And guys, if you want one of these challenge coins, guys, I love sending them out to you. Let me hear from you down in the comments below. The things that you are happy that you learned the hard way, that there was no other way. And really quick, gents, in case I haven't said it, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I don't know what point you're going to be watching this video, but it's holiday season here. And I just wanted to let you know, here in Wittenberg, Wisconsin, you've got Antonio here wishing you all the best. So what video to watch next? Well, gents, I've got a surprise for you. Click on this video right here. And yes, you will be whisked off to a magical video that I am not going to reveal which one it is. It's good. Check it out. I think you'll enjoy. Oh yeah.